Let's take a look at this before it gets too late, because I wanted to see Riot MMO's Last One Standing by Necrit. What he's referring to, guys, is it seems like every other MMO is getting shut down. We've had a brutal series of events in the MMO sphere with Project Ghost, with Ashes of Creation, with New World, with the Lord of the Rings MMO canceled. Like every single MMO is getting canceled. Riot MMO is still standing. Let's see what Necrit has to tell us. Necrit has a bunch of great videos on like the lore and everything, and he's kind of like the one covering a lot of this. So I'm like, all right, cool. Necrit, what's going on? Talk to us. Tell us about it.
I don't think I've ever seen more doomsaying than in the environment around Riot's MMO. In fact, right now, you wouldn't believe it, whenever I talk to anyone from the gaming audience, the vast majority of the people believe that the Riot MMO has been cancelled. This stems from the fact that in the past Riot announced the reset of the MMO, after which everything's been quiet. But of course, if you pay attention to the MMO's development, you would know that the team working on the Riot MMO currently is absolutely stacked full of talent. We are talking about veterans from all kinds of successful MMOs. And today, we'll even point out a new addition. But also, Mark Merrill himself said publicly that they want to release the MMO before 2030. So
okay.
Yes, only 4 years to go.
4-year
and
hype.
people still have no idea that the game might even be coming. Well, the truth is that while I feel confident that we will see the MMO one way or another, it is undeniable that Riot is fighting an uphill battle the entire time. It is a battle that simply keeps claiming all of their rivals. And very recently, there's some news that came out about this. You see, in case you are not an MMO person, currently, the king of all MMORPGs still remains to be World of Warcraft. That is taking into account both the retail version and all the versions of Classic. But while the second one in line was always confidently Final Fantasy with Guild Wars somewhere behind that, surprisingly, against all odds, old school RuneScape started climbing up, and now they are pulling off some big numbers once again. This started working to such a level that WoW started teasing they might do a similar thing in the future. By this, they pretty much told us that something might be happening at BlizzCon. Anyway, outside of these established MMO titans, all the dedicated players have always been waiting for the next big MMO to destroy everyone else.
That's right.
And from the list of upcoming MMOs, 3 rose above the rest. There is the Riot MMO that might still be the most hyped up MMO on the market, but right next to them,
hands down, most excited for the Riot MMO out of any other MMO announced in the past 2 decades. For me, it's the Riot MMO, and I've talked about this, and I'll say it time and time again. They have pre-existing video game IP, just like we had Warcraft 3 before WoW, we have League of Legends before the Riot MMO. That's a really good sign, really good sign. In fact, I don't even know if it works without that, really. The second thing is they have a lot of money, but, you know, Amazon had a lot of money and New World happened, and you know, like other studios can have money and they could still fail, but like it's still a good sign. Like it's funded. And I mean, you have a lot of talent, like it's kind of happening. Pre-existing video game IP, money. What was the third one I usually talk about? I feel like there's normally like 3 big ones I talk about, but like this is really good and really, really exciting, right? Weren't you this hyped about AOC? No, I've never been this hyped about any MMO except the Riot MMO. I've never really called anything a WoW killer personally. I'm always more like, a little more skeptical, but this is the one that I still won't call a WoW killer, but I'm most excited for from any other game announced in the last 2 decades. It's the Riot MMO, right? I believe in it. I believe in it more than any other game in the last 2 decades.
There was always the Ghost MMO, which was led by the former lead of World of Warcraft, as well as the former lead of the Riot MMO. And then, of course, there's also Ashes of Creation, a really big MMO project that originally started on a Kickstarter, where they did get about $3 million from funding, after which this became the game that showed the most promise when it comes to evolving MMORPGs. And so, it was these 3 games that together stood for the future of this genre.
I remember the third thing, which, by the way, Ashes got canceled and Project Ghost lost their funding, so the only one remaining is the Riot MMO. But I remember the third thing is that Riot has a really good track record. Riot's track record of 1, not being first to market, but 2, being able to mimic and do things very, very well when they're not first to market has been pretty extraordinary. League of Legends, they weren't first to MOBA, but they did really well competing with Dota, right? Really well. You have TFT that did pretty well, even though it wasn't first to market. And then you have Valorant that did pretty well, even though it clearly wasn't first to market in like the Overwatch or CS GO kind of or CS2 category, right? So yeah, they have a great track record, not first to market, but very good polished games, even though they come a bit later. 2, they have money. And 3, they have pre-existing video game IP. Who else has all 3? I've been saying this. None. It's the only one.
So why is it all dead? So, in case you missed it, the Ghost MMO was eventually shut down. That is after the investor stopped being confident in the project, and the studio was not able to find a new investor. And so, long story short, the Ghost is gone. And yes, they also had quite a lot of really good talent. The big culprit here could be the fact that when this game was shown to people, those who played it said that it's okay. And that was kinda it. But then, when it comes to Ashes of Creation, well, that's where the news come in. So, for quite some time, Ashes of Creation actually was in a playable alpha or beta, whatever they called it, meaning that the game was actually playable. As to what degree the playability was there, well, that's another question. For example, from the general feedback, you can tell that people really liked the combat. That's where this game really felt like an evolving MMO. However, all the social features and the progression wasn't good, which was always the key selling point of this MMO. They were supposed to have advanced features all across the world, and even though this is just a testing phase, people have been testing this for many months and nothing happened. And so, Ashes of Creation actually gave us an update on January 29th. To our glorious community, Ashes of Creation exists because of you. Every tester who logs in reports a bug and challenges us to do better. This world is shaped not just by our developers, but by the people who believe in what Vera can become. We know that some of you are frustrated right now. We feel that. You've been candid about the issues impacting your experience, and you deserve clarity and honesty in return. The concerns we hear the most clearly include the impact of real money trading, bots and cheating on fairness and progression, PvP and corruption systems that don't yet feel consistent or fully realized, issues surrounding caravans, crates and risk versus rewards gameplay, content and system bugs that interrupt gameplay, performance and stability problems that pull you out of the world. These are not small things. They touch the core of what Ashes of Creation is meant to be. A living, player-driven MMORPG where your time, effort and choices matter. We are actively working on these areas and many of them are deeply interconnected. Solving one often requires structural changes across multiple systems. That work is...
My biggest issue with Ashes, or like the thing I liked the most, was the combat. Like it felt pretty good to combo abilities because they all are intertwined and work together. So when I was playing, I was like, oh, this combat's actually pretty fun. The thing I like the least is the storyline just drops off after like 3 hours. Like if you guys played the alpha, like you're following the story, and then there's just like no follow up, and it's like, what do you do next? Oh, you have to grind mobs to level. Like, okay, I get it's an alpha, but like, so there's like a couple hours of gameplay. So I just kind of stopped playing because there was like no more quests. I'm not just gonna grind mobs all day either. That's silly. So it's just kind of there was zero content in the game. The combat felt good. It like felt promising. It was like I was kind of excited to see where it would go, but there was like nothing there, right?
Underway. So in short, yes, the team knows that the game is kinda crumbling, but they did tell us that there is gonna be an update on February 13th. Okay. Now, as to what that update is gonna be about, no one has any idea because the game is falling apart. Because a day later, mass resignations came in. And so we got a message from Steven, who was the lead producer of the entire game. I can make a limited statement in my personal capacity, and
we've
not
seen this
on behalf of the company regarding the situation. Control of the company shifted away from me, and the board began directing actions that I would not ethically agree with or carry out. As a result, I chose to resign in protest, rather than lend my name or authority to decisions I could not ethically support. Following my resignation, much of the senior leadership team resigned. Following those departures, the board made the decision to issue WARN Act notice and proceed with a mass layoff. People love this word in today's economy. I cannot responsibly speak to further details at this time due to ongoing legal and governance matters. What I can say is that the developer and staff acted in good faith and deserved better than the uncertainty they are facing now. I am incredibly dismayed by the situation, Stephen Sheriff. So yes, it is now almost certain that Ashes of Creation is going down too. Which is kind of funny, because on their original Kickstarter they did mention that should the MMO not launch, they will give people full refund.
What are the chances this comes to fruition? In the case Ashes does not launch, we promise to refund all backers in full. Like, I know multiple people that bought that $500 pack back in like 2019. Oh, it did launch on Steam? Oh. An alpha counts as a launch? Oh gosh. So they Steam launch it, then do the... Okay. They did launch it.
People full refund. So yes, I think everyone is certain that the MMO will come out, even if it is crumbling. But overall, this also means that MMORPGs just don't have a good record. If you ask me, I do believe that's because people now appreciate more of the old school designs. You know, treating MMORPGs like classic old school RPGs, kinda similar to Baldur's Gate. That's one of the reasons why that game went big. Because that's actually what both World of Warcraft as well as RuneScape boil down to. I don't think people want an MMO be a live service Fortnite Battle Pass. And so now the question remains, how does Riot stay in this? Well, Riot answered by getting another high-profile person to help them with the MMO. In fact, we are talking about Reynold Bartos, also known as the good guy Ray from the Plunderstorm, aka the previous lead producer of World of Warcraft.
Okay.
So yes, we're not just talking about anyone, this is another big dog. And the announcement came from his tweet. I am incredibly excited to be joining Riot Games on the MMO team. From my very first conversation with Riot, I immediately gravitated towards their values, and I was genuinely impressed by how clearly those values showed up throughout the interview process. I made it obvious that kindness, respect and care aren't just words here, but something the team truly lives by. I am deeply grateful for the opportunity to join such an inspiring group of people, and I can't wait to get started. Showing up every day to provide value for Riot Games and help deliver an MMO experience players truly enjoy. And as a fun bonus, I've been barely able to contain, I'll be re-queuing with my longtime duo partner, Orlando, who was also previously at Blizzard.
Wait, what? Orlando's here too. These are like Plunderstorm dudes, right? I think I did an interview with Orlando at some point with Plunder, and now they're both left Blizzard, and now they're both at Riot. I mean, it's kind of good in this, like, these guys cooked on Plunder. I mean, they cooked on Plunder.
Given our track record on World of Warcraft, I have a feeling we'll be moving fast on day one. Special note, I am very grateful for all of you who have reached out on my last post in direct messages. That was the post where he announced that he was leaving Blizzard. The recruitment process was quite fast. And so, right now, his position on the MMO is a senior game producer, meaning that he stuck the landing on another really important role.
Okay.
If anything, this really solidified the stance of the Riot MMO. Because while everyone else is crumbling, because the MMO is getting more higher positions, it means they are now committed with the dedication to this game. And as a result, right now, the Riot MMO stands as the single titan that is still waiting for its release.
You know, I wonder from like a design perspective for the Riot MMO, if they're going to go down the path of building a classic MMO in the you know, from a design perspective for like something like Classic WoW or RuneScape, or if they're going to try to make like a modern MMO and compete with more of like a retail. Because you kind of have to pick a category. You can't really do both. Are you going to make a modern MMO? I mean, probably, because it's a modern game. It'll probably be a modern MMO. But I wonder if there's some type of thought process of like, maybe we should have some classic elements, because that's clearly what people want, right? Trindamir, the head of Riot, said he learned a lot during OnlyFans. Okay, cool. Yeah, so Trindamir, guys, one of the people working on the Riot MMO, played in OnlyFans. So maybe there'll be classic elements. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it would be kind of cool if there was some type of classic framework. It seems like that's what a lot of MMO gamers want, but we'll see.
Everyone else was already shut down. And so, we can be certain about one thing. As long as we keep seeing more gacha skins, we will get the fundings for the Riot MMO.
Like I said, man, they have the funding. I mean, it's there. It's definitely there. Man, I don't know, dude. Maybe I'm on some Riot MMO copium, but like I said, I still haven't seen any other game with a track record like Riot, coming in late, not first to market, but still making great polished games with the money and with pre-existing online video game IP. Still haven't seen something with that. I'm excited, man. 4 years out, whatever it is, I'm excited. Hopefully it comes out at some point. We'll see what happens. We'll see. Hey, Fergie, what's going on? Riot MMO is tanked. What info makes you believe that the Riot MMO is tanked? Whereas Ampy, I think he's getting some beauty sleep. Release date? There's no release date. I'd seen a good Classic Plus. Yeah, true. What happened to New World? They shut it down. They tanked it 2 years ago, literally nuked the whole project and started fresh after 4 or 5 years of dev. I mean, maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but if I would rather have them restart than release slop. Like if they realize we're going down the wrong direction, I think it's wise to say, okay, no, let's start over. Like this sucks. Like let's just. I think that's, yeah. It's a great sign. It's a really good sign, right? Because most of the time, the way historically MMOs, like Western MMOs, kind of fail is they get their funding, they give the investors like a 4-year time frame. You know, 3.5 years are up. The game isn't ready, but they're kind of forced by the investors to say we need to release the game now. And they're like, oh crap. So they have 6 months to kind of pull everything together. The game's not ready. They launch anyway. It has a terrible launch, and then everyone quits. And it's like, well, GG. And this has happened like time and time again. So like having your own funding to be like, okay, no, let's just restart is pretty cool. It's the route most projects should take, but managers almost never dare to do so. Yeah, I think in the MMO design sphere, and in probably like almost every sphere, things just take way longer than you would project they take, right? Like you would think building an MMO, it's like, oh, 4 years. Like it's just like, no, absolutely not. It just takes way longer. So we'll see what happens. I hope they go the Lost Ark route without the pay to win. Lost Ark was the only good game that for a while could compete with the big MMOs. My problem with Lost Ark, I actually liked Lost Ark. I thought it had some good systems, but I think Lost Ark had a few flaws. The first flaw was the pay to win, but like that's obvious. The second flaw, in my opinion, is click to move. I don't think MMOs are as immersive with click to move, and I really hope the Riot MMO doesn't make this mistake. I think if you want an immersive MMO, it shouldn't be click to move. It shouldn't be top down. I think the third flaw that Lost Ark made is that the 21 by 9, is that the right aspect ratio? So basically, like, you wanted to play this with black bars because you could see more on the sides. That sucked. They should have made the game not built with this aspect ratio. That was a really big turnoff for me. And then the fourth was the art style. Obviously everyone has their opinions, but I prefer more of like a Western art style for the games I play. And obviously Lost Ark wasn't. So like these were my 4 big issues with Lost Ark. Just buy an ultra wide. So people told me that, and I think that's a terrible suggestion. Oh, just buy a new monitor for this one game that requires 21 by 9 and every other game is 16 by 9. So if you want to play any other game, now your ultra wide sucks. And if you want this game, it works. Terrible suggestion. Just buy an ultra wide. It's like, no, ultra wide is better for everything. No, it's not, because YouTube videos are 16:9, content creation, Twitch is 16:9. As a streamer, a content creator, you can't really use a 21:9. Doesn't work. Totally not. So anyway, yes, this was a big issue with Lost Ark for me. Anyway, these 4 things are my issues. I thought besides that though, like if they changed the art style, the aspect ratio, click to move, and the pay to win, I actually think the game itself and a lot of the systems were pretty good. Like I liked the arena system they had. I liked the PvE progression they had. The boss fights were fun. Like if these 4 things changed, Lost Ark would be great, I think. Anyway, I hope these mistakes aren't made by the Riot MMO. Fabu Raisu replies on X. He's the executive producer and he's leading the charge of the Riot MMO. Fabu Siru Twitter. What was his name? I'm trying to find it. Executive producer Riot Games replies. Riot MMO, where are you? I need some eyes. This was February 2nd, so yesterday, with an eyeball emojis. Can I get a permanent home office? We need some folks to know the IP. Not sure you'd qualify. Bro, there's only a handful of MMOs that still breathe. WoW, FF, PDO, Guild Wars, OSRs. Am I missing one? PS, Riot MMO will never see the light of day. Bookmark this. And then there's eye emojis with a bookmark. Oh, that's hype. I did it. Okay. Let's give this guy a follow. See what's going on here. The Riot MMO is our only hope with a shushing face emoji. Okay. Okay. Yo, Rude, thanks for the prime. Okay, everyone, it's time again. Update your list. The next big MMO will be Warhammer Online. I didn't say that would be big. Aeon Online. I didn't say that'd be big. Matrix. Nope. Conan. Nope. City of Heroes. Nope. Wildstar. Nope. Didn't even get behind that. Terra. Nope. Riot MMO V1. New World. I didn't say New World would be big, but it was bigger than I thought it would. Ashes. Nope. Riot V2. One day. Fabris, you're the last hope. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I have been the, like, I haven't hyped up a single one of these as the next big MMO, right? New World, I didn't know too much about, and I didn't even play it on launch. And then I played after, and I was like, oh, this is great. But then obviously it had its issues. But I still don't know if I was saying it would be the next big one. AOC dead. At least we have the Riot MMO to hope for, right? Eyeball emojis. Lol, MMO development may be progressing behind the scenes. Eyeball emojis. If it was an MMO for the world setting of the Lolaverse, I'd probably play it for the rest of my life. Eyeball emojis. My post, anytime I talk about the Riot MMO or post a new video, eyeball emojis. The former lead producer of WoW is joining Riot Games, Raymond Bartos, eyeball emojis. So clearly, they're working on it. The previous lead producer on WoW, Raymond, has joined the Riot Games, eyeball emojis. Riot MMO is our last hope, eyeball emojis. Eyeball emojis on Riot MMO. Okay, guys, so yeah, clearly there's some eyeball emojis. This is solid bait. Dude, there's no... What are the chances this guy's just baiting all of us as the executive producer at Riot Games, leading the charge on the MMO? Wait, he literally has it in his bio, leading the charge on the MMO. It's a fake account? Dude. Well, check marks you can just buy now, huh? Okay, so I don't know what that is. You guys think it's a fake account? Okay, I mean, I don't know. Yo, Samwise, thanks for the T1. Do you think AI can usher in a new evolution of MMOs? Think of quests giving NPCs that you can actually interact with and need to convince, extract info from, etc. I would love to see a living, breathing world in an MMO. It probably could, but we'll see what happens there. The optics behind AI are probably not, like, even if you could deliver a really good game, I think gamers would just instantly shut it down because it's AI. It's not real people making it, right? So in theory, even if that's possible, it would probably fail. I don't know. That's a hard one.